Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Betty Kinyua, a teacher of business studies and Kiswahili. Welcome on board. I want to take us through a topic in Form 1 known as the office. Yeah, I believe all of us can clearly see what we are going to take through today. So our topic today is the office, more particularly a subtopic by the name office equipment. And on the objectives today we have the definition of the office equipment, the role of the office equipment. First of all, let's look at the definition. Office equipment. These are the facilities that are used in an office that make work easier and efficient. So yeah, and as you look at the office equipment, first of all, I have one of the office equipment to show. This one is a stapler, and as we proceed on, I'm going to show you how it works. That is one of the office equipment that we have, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So let us briefly look at the role of office equipment. What are the uses, or rather, what is the importance of the office equipment, and how do they help us in an office? I believe most of us have ever been to an office, and you've come across either most of them, or rather some of the office equipment, and there are others that are so common. We even have some in our homes that we normally use. So let's look at the role of office equipment. The role of office equipment. Number one, office equipment is used up to simplify work. It simplifies it simplifies and speeds up and simplifies work. Number two, it enhances neatness and accuracy. When you're talking about neatness and accuracy, for example, if you have some documents like these papers that I'm holding here, and you have so many of them, they could be scattered all over. So there is an equipment that you use to put them all together to make them look neat and not scattered in our working areas in an office or wherever we are working from. So that is what we mean by enhancing neatness and accuracy. Also, when you're using office equipment, like when you're doing arithmetical calculations, they also help us in calculations, whereby while you're using something like a calculator or a computer, your mathematical calculations are going to be correct, and you're not going to be making any errors, as compared when you're using your brain to do the calculations. Also, the role number 3 we have to ensure security of documents and other valuables, especially things like files and the folders that we have. That is why you consolidate all our documents to keep them safe, and whenever we need to retrieve them, we get them there safely. Also, there are those that something like a paper shredder. It's used for trimming, or rather cutting documents into tiny pieces to avoid them landing into unauthorized hands. That is what we mean by the security of documents. And also valuables like important documents, you keep them nicely in a folder or a file so that you are able to ensure that your documents are safe wherever they are, from theft, from damages, from things like water spilling on them and all that. Number 4, rule number 4 we have provides a comfortable working environment whereby if you're in a working environment where you're handling so many documents, so you need to put them all together. The office equipment that will help us provide a comfortable and working environment whereby you don't have so many documents scattered at your working area that could be preventing you from doing your work correctly. So that is it on the roles of the office equipment. That's all we have. I believe we've all gotten them right, unless there is a question before we proceed. So let's proceed on. Let's look at the various office equipments that we have. The types of office equipment. Our office equipment are categorized into 6 categories, whereby there are equipments that will get in a general office. There are equipments we'll find in a mail room. There are equipments we are going to find in a typing pool. The equipment we will find in communication. There are also equipment that you find in duplicating. And also the equipment that we'll find in the accounts offices. So in each of these categories, we are going to look at the type of equipment that you can find in those particular offices. Let's first of all look at in a general office, we have the first equipment. We have a paper punch. We have a stapling machine. And also, okay. All right. We have a stapling machine. We have a guillotine. We have a staple remover and a paper punch. Our first example there is a guillotine. A guillotine is an equipment that is used to cut documents into the required sizes and shapes. For example, if you go in an office and you don't need a document that looks like this, and you need to cut it maybe into 2. For you to maintain the linear cutting, you need a document known as a guillotine that is used to trim documents into the required sizes. Maybe you need just a small size, so you can trim it using a guillotine machine. Also, mostly when you go to cyber cafes, you find you have a document like an ID, and you want to make a photocopy of it. So the photocopy is made using an A4 printout, and then the guillotine is used to cut it into the required shape to match the shape of an ID. That is the function of a guillotine machine. Number 2, we have a stapler, like the one I have here. This one is a stapler. This one is used for pinning documents together like this. Like I have 2 of my documents, I want to pin them together. I use a stapler, and here I have pinned my documents together. So if you had documents that had various pages, so you can use it to pin your documents all together. Maybe it's an exam paper or other document that has pages. You first arrange your pages from the first page to the last page, and then you pin them together using a stapling machine. Also, there is another office equipment known as a staple remover. That one is the one that is used now when you want to detach the documents that have been pinned together. If you want to detach them, you use a staple remover to detach your documents that have been pinned together. So that is the function of a stapler remover. Also, we have another equipment that is known as a paper punch. As you can see, if you have such a paper and you have a file, you want to file them. So there is an equipment known as a paper punch, whereby it's used to make holes. You put your document inside a paper punch, and then you make holes. You press it. You make holes to facilitate filing, so that you are able to put your documents in a file. So that one is the paper punch. It is used to make holes to facilitate filing. Then let's go to the mail room. The mail room, basically is just like letters. Anything to do with letter sending, or rather a letter is also a mail. So when you look at the equipment that we can find in the mail room, the first one, we have a folding machine. A folding machine is a machine that is used to fold letters. So if a letter is this size, we need to fold it in a way it's going to fit in an envelope. You fold it nicely. So instead of doing this, remember we said one of the roles of the office equipment is to make our work easier. So instead of taking time to fold like 20, 30 letters, you use a folding machine to fold your letters into the required sizes, so that now they can be put in an envelope. So that one is a folding machine. Equipment number 2, we have an addressing machine. As you all know, when you are sending letters, you need to have the letter needs to have addresses. So an addressing machine, instead of sitting down and writing all those addresses, so there is a machine that puts addresses on the letters, or rather on the envelopes of the letters. So that one is an addressing machine. So the other one, we have a franking machine. A franking machine A franking machine is used to print postage impressions on envelopes. So the impressions that are made on an envelope when sending letters, they are posted, or rather they are printed using a franking machine. It's the one that prints the postage impressions. Then the next one, we have a sorting machine. A sorting machine. A sorting machine. This one is a machine that is used to sort letters that have been sent, that have been mixed up. So it is used to sort letters and put similar ones together. So that one is the work of a sorting machine, sorting the letters that have been mixed up. So the next one, we have a composite. A composite. A composite is a machine that has 3 functions. First of all, it folds letters. It puts them in envelopes. and seals the envelopes. So you find out that when you have a composite machine, you don't need a folding machine, because a composite is going to fold the letters, it's going to put them in envelopes, and it's going to seal the envelopes for you. So that is the work of a composite machine. It has three functions. First of all, it folds the letters, it puts them in the envelopes, and thirdly, it seals the envelopes all together. So that is the work of a composite machine. It's just like a 3-in-1 machine that has three functions. And then we have a letter opener. We have a letter opener. A letter opener, just like its name, is used to open letters. Its function is to open letters. So instead of taking over so many letters to open using your hands, you can use a letter opener to make your work easier. So let's look at the communication, the type of office equipment we have in communication. In communication, first one, we have a telephone. We have a telephone. Everyone knows a telephone. It is used to send and receive messages. Number two, we have a teleprinter. This one is used for printing messages that are text. So that one is the work of a teleprinter. And already made messages that have been telex, the work of a teleprinter is to print them. Then the third one, we have a fax mail or a fax machine. So let's also look at the type of equipment we have in duplicating. To duplicate is to reproduce documents from a master copy. Like if I want to make copies of such a document, I use methods of duplicating, or rather methods of reproducing documents. So I can use a photocopy, I can use a printer, I can use an ink duplicator, I can also use carbon copying, all those. So the type of equipment that we have under duplicating, first of all, we have a photocopier. So if I have a photocopier, I can make copies of these papers that I have here, and I believe most of us have ever come across a photocopier and how it functions. Most of us have also done photocopies, so you can understand what you mean by photocopying. This one is used for photocopying documents. And then we have, the next one we have is a printer. A printer also is a very common equipment. A printer, or rather a printing machine. We have so many, we have come across, I believe most of us have come across a printing machine whereby maybe you might send a soft copy and then you print it using a printing machine. So if you need to get so many copies, like in most schools have printers, or rather I would say all the schools, a printer is a necessity, whereby even the exam papers are printed using a printer. So the next one we have is a stencil duplicator. A stencil So this is a machine, or rather an equipment that is used to make copies from a master copy by use of a stencil. So it is also a method of reproducing documents whereby you can be able to make copies using a stencil. Yeah, and also the type of duplicating, we have the stencil duplicator, and you also have a duplicating machine that uses ink too. So it can either be stencil or ink, but the most common one is the stencil duplicator. Then the next one, let's look at the accounts. The accounts, what we have in our accounting office. In our accounts, first of all, we have a machine known as an adding machine. An adding machine, just like its name, it is used for making calculations in adding. Then the next one we have is a calculating machine, or a calculator. Most of us have come across a calculator. We use them in our schools, at home, in the shops. So a calculator is just used for making all types of calculation, division, multiplication, addition, and all that. So that is the work of a calculator, and just as the name accounting suggests, it is all about arithmetic calculations. Then the next one we have is a computer. A computer now is a machine that also does calculations, but it is involved in doing complex calculations, like the calculations that are in statistics, calculations that involve large amounts of figures. It can be used using a computer because it is more efficient, it is more accurate, because when someone is using a calculator, they might miss out some digits, but when you're using a computer, at least it's going to give you the right figures, because also the display is a bit wider as compared to that of a calculating machine. Then the next one we have is a money counting machine. A money counting machine. This one is the one that is used for counting notes and coins, and mostly money counting machines are mostly found in banks, whereby most of the tellers use them to calculate or rather to count notes mostly, and also coins. So that one is a machine that is used for counting of notes and coins, mostly used in banks. And then the next one we have is the typing pool. Sorry, I skipped that one. We have the typing pool, the equipment that we can find in a typing pool. A typing pool. A typing pool. The first one we have is a typewriter. A typewriter. This one can be manual or electric. So it is for typing letters, reports, newsletters, and so on. The next one we have is the dictating machine, or the dictaphone. Dictaphone. A dictaphone is used for making shorthand dictations. So if you need to write something that is just brief, You can write them using a dictating machine or a dictaphone. Then the next one we have is also a duplicating machine. A duplicating machine. So this one is used for reproducing documents from a master copy. A master copy is generally the original copy. So you make copies of such a document by use of various office equipment. We can use a duplicating machine whereby we have an ink duplicator and we have the one that uses a stencil. So those are the types of office equipment we have under these categories that we have here. So we have the ones in the general office, the room, the typing pool, under communication, under duplication, and also under accounts. So those are the kinds of office equipment, the commonly used ones in an office. Then let's, unless there is a question, I want us to look at the advantages of office machines or office equipment. What are the advantages? Because everything has their advantage and disadvantage, or rather the positive and the negative side of them. So as they are using machines, like we said earlier, they make our work easier. They help us make our working environments neat. They help us keep our documents safe, away from damage, away from theft. So let's look at the advantages they bring to us as we use them. What are the advantages of office equipment or machines? The advantages of office equipment or machines. The first one, is office equipment or machines. They are labor saving. All right, thank you. They are labor saving. So when you have machines in an office or in an organization, we don't require a lot of staff or rather a lot of people working there. So because they save us labor, so or rather the human resources, so they save us whereby we have a reduced number of staff working in an office or an organization. Number two, office equipment or rather office machines are accurate. They ensure accuracy. Accuracy means no mistakes, no errors, especially in the arithmetics. So they are accurate. They are more accurate than when a human being is doing calculations by use of their mind. And then number three, we have speed. Number three, we have speed. Use of machines is much faster and efficient, and it saves time. It helps us in saving time, because when you're using a computer to do calculations and when you're using your mind, one who is using a computer is going to do it faster. So they ensure that there is speed in the work that you're doing. Number four, machines have a presentable output. have a presentable output. This is whereby the work done by machines is neat. It looks presentable as compared to the work that is done by hands, by use of hands, especially when something is written and when it's typed. The one that is written might be having some clumsiness, but when the work is done by use of a machine, if it is typed maybe using a typewriter, it is more presentable as compared to the work that is done by the use of hands, mostly the handwritten work or the drawings that are made using bare hands. Then number 5, we have uniformity. Machines ensure that our work is uniform. Uniformity is whereby the output done by machines, if one exam paper is printed, all the others, they are all the same. Uniformity means the output is the same for all the documents, or rather all the output that has been done using the machines. Everything is equal. So like in schools, when you're given an exam paper, they are all the same because the printout is the same because it's been done using a machine. So also the machines help us in minimizing costs. It is also an advantage of using office machines. Also, it assists us in reducing frauds. Machines help us in reducing frauds and kind of theft. So when you're using office machines, something like computers, and now that there is a development of technology, it helps us identify and reduce cases of frauds in our working areas. So also things like scammers and all that, we are able to identify them by use of machines. And due to the current developments in technology, life has been much easier by use of machines. So those are the advantages or the merits of office machines or equipment. So let us look at the disadvantages of office equipment or machines. The disadvantages. The disadvantages. Number 1 is the cost. The cost. The initial cost of buying an office machine and the maintenance costs are so high. So for you to be able to buy a machine, for you to be able to buy a photocopier, for you to be able to buy a printing machine, it is expensive to buy them, and also to maintain them is also costly. Number 2, we have unemployment. So since we looked at the advantages and we saw that our machines help us in saving labor, whereby few people are employed in an organization, so meaning that most of the workers that most of the work that could be done by human beings is now done by machines, hence leading to unemployment. So many people are laid off in organizations because the machines have taken over their work that can do. So machines contribute to unemployment, whereby you find that so many people are unemployed because of the rapid growth in technology and use of machines. Number 3, we have stoppage of work. So if a machine breaks down, the production process is going to stop until the machine is able to function again. So it slows down and also leads to the stoppage of work because If there was a process that was ongoing and a machine breakdowns in the middle of the production process, it means that production process is going to stop until the machine is repaired or until the machine is replaced with a new one, or rather even when most of the machines use electricity. So when there is no electricity in an organization or an office, so it means the work has to be done manually, because the machine maybe cannot work, or rather cannot function where there is absence of electricity power. So the other one we have, the next disadvantage is machines require skills. So it requires someone who is well trained to operate them. So it requires skillful people to handle them, because if one is not skilled, you cannot be able to handle certain office machines. And you see, now having to employ people is also another expense, so they require specific skills to handle them. The other one is that machines become outdated with time. Again, due to the rising or the emerging technology developments, machines are becoming outdated with time. So you need to keep on replacing a machine, an updated version of a machine. So they easily become updated. You find out that in an office where you had various machines, there are some that have come in that are more faster, more efficient, more accurate. So you need to keep on replacing them. Otherwise, the ones that have been outdated are going to make the work become so slow. And then also some machines require special materials like stationaries to use them. For example, something like a printing machine, you need ink. So you find out that other than buying the machine itself, you also need some more stationery, or rather some more materials that are used with the machine to be able to complement it so that it can be able to function well. And also, the other one is that machines I can't see well. So the carelessness of the people handling the machines if people handling the machines are careless, they may lead to an enormous wastage. If a person does not know how to use a printer, they may end up wasting the printing papers. If someone does not know how to use a photocopier, they may also end up wasting a lot of stationaries. And also the machine itself, they might destroy it, and that one becomes a big loss to the organization or the office. So those are the disadvantages of office machines. As we said, everything has its own advantages and disadvantages, contributing to unemployment. Nowadays, so many people don't have jobs, and most of them are lacking jobs because the work that they could do is now done by machines. Again, yes? All right. You can see now the cases of unemployment, especially in our country, are so high due to the rising technology. People are using machines nowadays, so most of the people don't have jobs because of that. So as we conclude, if you've looked, I would like each of you to go to an office, identify the various office equipment, look at them, make sure you know how they're used, and then you see whether they're among the ones that you've discussed in our class today. Thank you for your time. The assignment, the assignment has said, you go to an office, visit an office, that is near you, or even when you go back to your schools. Visit an office and ensure you've identified at least 3 of the office equipment and you get to know how they are used. Yeah, that is it. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you are doing well in your holidays. Please make use of your holidays well. Make sure you do enough revision. Yeah, it was nice having you, and have a nice time. Thank you.